Hello and greetings. If you don't know, my name is Gina Maria Opalescent. My website is Opalescent World, and I'm going to explain what the border that you're seeing here is. It is, oh, my lighting sucks again. Excuse my French. YouTube. It is an opal that was on sale on eBay, and it reminds me of that incredible meditation I had from which I took my name. I don't know, maybe you haven't heard the story. I was in this meditation and I was following a guided meditation, but about a minute later, I just went out, which is what I call it. I don't know what people call this. You just like go out, you're gone, right? And at that point, I was in a white, puffy cloud. Unfortunately, there are no opals for sale that I could find that were as white as some that I've seen, but it was a white, puffy cloud. I'm there. There's no one. There are no things. I did not have a body, no time, no space. And all I could see were these tiny little flecks of blue and yellow and pink. And it reminded me of walking in an opal. And then, oh, here's my astro chart. I think I'll turn that over for whatever reason. And then I'm in this just like, what is happening? Like, it was so wild. It just brilliant white clouds. It was so cool. And all of a sudden, my whole entire head is filled with this noise of rushing waves. And the waves, I didn't know they were waves. There was a rushing sound. It was just whoosh. It was so big. And the waves were hitting me in my non-existent chest, and my head was going like this. And suddenly I realized they were the most intense, incredible. God, I get teary every time I tell this story. Indescribable, beautiful, unconditional love. I have never, ever, ever heard of anyone or anything talk or tell anything about this, whatever that was. And I don't know how long the meditation was. It was only probably a couple minutes. Maybe it was a half hour. I do not know. And it was years and years and years ago. I have a feeling it was probably around maybe 1999 or 2000 is when I think it might have been, okay? And that story, that meditation just stuck with me and stuck with me. And then when I was going to change my name, I was looking for, thinking of what should I pick. And that's when I thought, oh my God, I was given the name, hi BJ,
Hi.
to carry this energy. So that's what I did, and here I am, and I didn't know you were here and waiting.
Hmm.
I can only see your hand and half of one eye.
Hmm.
So, how are you? Hi,
Good. So,
welcome.
what were you talking about?
I was telling my story. Did you hear me?
No, I heard something about you had a dream and.
It wasn't a dream, it was a meditation. It was the my meditation story about my name.
Oh, okay.
And then when I went to build my website and I wanted opalescent.com, which wasn't available, the computer program that you use to get your URL suggested opalescent world, and I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly what I want. Wouldn't it be beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Have that kind of energy in our world. So how are you doing, love?
So, what was the dream? What were you saying? What did you
I,
get?
I was in this meditation. I was in this brilliant white cloud.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody, no nothing. I didn't have a body. There were no objects. There were no people. There was nothing except for brilliant white. So at that point, there's no time and no space.
Hmm.
So then my head was filled with this rushing noise,
Mm-hmm.
and it was getting louder and louder, and it was really loud, and it was hitting my non-existent chest, and my physical earthly body was like going like this.
Hmm.
Then I realized that there were waves of the most powerful, indescribable, beautiful, overwhelming divine love.
Hmm.
That's all I could call it.
Uh-huh.
And so afterwards, when all of this was said and done, I decided to name it because it's like you kind of want to ground it in and bring it
Mm-hmm.
into this reality. And I named it opalescent because it was like my opalescent experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to build my website, opalescent.com is taken. They actually wanted to sell it for $8,000.
Hmm.
And then the company, I don't know, it wasn't GoDaddy. I think it was Name Silo that I used to get URLs. Offered me the possibility of getting opalescent.world, and that's what I took.
Hmm.
So now I just brought you up to speed,
Oh, good.
right?
How's your site go? How are you doing with your web page, with your classes and all?
I am not doing classes or anything. All I'm doing is my report. I'm not doing very well with it. I've made progress. I made quite a bit of progress actually yesterday, but I've been having adventures.
Uh-huh.
Adventures. I mean, like crazy, dumb kind of adventures. Like, I have a subscription with a coffee shop. They send me the coffee and
Oh,
they put
cool.
it in the mail. Well, it's fabulous if the postal carrier will deliver it.
Mm.
But so the software, they must have to scan it or something, and it said it was delivered. So I go get the mail. The mailbox was jam packed full with stuff I wasn't expecting, and no coffee. So today I drive to the coffee shop and there was a huge long line, and I wanted to send one of the other people that I know here in Santa Fe that does readings and classes and stuff. I wanted to send her a message. So I'm in the line at the coffee shop dictating this email by my phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it all done, sent it off. Then it was my turn to get my coffee. Come home. Oh, swung by Target. I got some groceries. Come home, bring all my stuff in. I was pouring my coffee. I usually pour it into jars because it's just easier to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Except for it's not always easy to get them in the jar, right?
Right.
So I'm pouring the coffee in the jar, trying to, and it's kind of hit or miss here. I don't know why, because it's hard to hold the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm doing that, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and it was my friend Jen, and the coffee starts spilling all over the floor, all over me, all over everything. I'm like,
Oh no.
oh my God. So I got probably 85% of it cleaned up before my wonderful mechanic. I have this guy, he lives a couple blocks from me, and he runs meticulous motors. If you're in Santa Fe and you've got a Toyota or an Audi or a, foreign car that you want a really good mechanic for, go to Meticulous Motors because he's amazing. Anyway, so my battery was dead. So he came, took my battery out, put another battery in so at least I had wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Except I didn't know that he put the other battery in because it was exactly 1 week ago. And I must have missed the memo, or he must have thought he told me. I don't know, but we were yammering a week ago right now, and he was putting another battery in. So anyway, so he just stopped by now to switch it back out again. And I told him I didn't go anywhere all week until tonight or this afternoon. And that puppy started up like there was no tomorrow. I'm like, what kind of battery's in my van? He goes, a really big one. I'm like, well, can I get one like that? He goes, no, it doesn't really fit. It doesn't sit right in the brackets, and I probably shouldn't have put it in, but I knew you had stuff to do, so I'm like, oh my God. He goes, I'll look around and see if I can get one with that potential, with that many horses. That's the same size as your battery. So anyway, that was another, just kind of weird adventure, fun adventure, whatever.
That's
But
cool.
all of a sudden I was covered in coffee. I'm like, oh my God, this is not where I wanted the coffee to go. How is your week?
Good.
Yeah, tell me
Yep.
about it.
Just
How
working.
is your mouth doing? How?
I get my top dentures on the 23rd of this month. So next week,
Yeah.
Tuesday, which will be good. It'll be a whole nother process of another month of getting used to having something in my mouth. It's a
Well,
whole process. It's a very long one and it's very painful and uncomfortable. And as each healing happens, because you can't do anything until all the cuts are closed up. Your hand. It takes a while for, if you get a cut on your hand, it takes about 8 to 6 weeks for it to heal. Completely heal and the skin cover up. If you
that's
get
a
a cut.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
6 to 8 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for any cut that we get on our hands or wherever, it's for it to completely heal and not be seen anymore. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks. It's
Oh, and not be seen anymore. Okay.
well healed up completely.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been a big journey. A lot going on.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I want to talk about something tonight. This is so bizarre. This is just, it's something that happens. Thank you. He comes in, opens the door, throws my keys in the jar. I can hear it and leaves.
Mhm.
Thank you, meticulous motors. So, it's something that has happened to me. I'm gonna guess, I don't know. I laugh. I have no idea really, but I'm gonna say 10, about 10 times. And it just happened again last week. And then I was talking to my friend Natana on Friday, and somehow or other it came up, but she was talking to me about it too because she knows what it is. And we call it, now it's got a name, it's called a wrinkle in time.
Mm.
But it's where you're doing something or sitting somewhere or something's happening, but you're just kind of settled in your spot. And all of a sudden, you can literally feel this in your body where I'm gonna call it like a tiny flash of like an earthquake. Like you can feel something jump, but then nothing happens. And it's not an earthquake, and it has nothing to do with that. But it feels like time just takes a dip or something, or you skip from 1 second or 1 millisecond, whatever, to the next, but you skipped 3 in the middle. Does that make sense?
No,
So you've never experienced this.
no. Mm-mm.
So she was telling me, she was talking about the string that's all curled up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's string theory. I remember when my youngest child was really young. I think they were in like second grade. And I I don't know if I was homeschooling them then or not, but anyway, um, they were in second grade, and I found or I heard of a contest where if a kid could explain string theory to an adult, there was a prize. And it was a, I don't know, pretty big prize for a second grader, right? But they had to explain it live, and it had to be on high speed internet. And we lived in the country and we had dial up. So I remember trying to coordinate this and do it so that I could be at someone's house somewhere. And it was a lot of work and it just didn't happen. And I was really bummed about it. But so Natana was talking about, string theory is really where it's curled up like in a spiral and you're maybe like going in a tunnel or something. I'm not sure because I never got the explanation. Or if I got it, I didn't understand it. Okay. But she was saying that it's kind of like a ribbon that goes up and down and up and down and up and down, but it's really tight together. And what happens is you're jumping from the top of the ribbon from one place to the next without going down because time is the ribbon, okay? So your time is like this, and it curls around and goes up, and it curls around and goes down, and it curls around and goes up and down. But at some point, you jump from one to the other without going down and back up.
Hmm.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like something really intense and really wild. And I'm not sure if you really jump. It's kind of like this feeling in your body that just like, ugh, if that makes any sense at all. Have you ever heard of or experienced anything like it?
Nope.
So it's just me and I don't know, hippiosity. I can hear my youngest kid going, Mom, it's just hippiosity. I wish they would stop saying stuff like that. It's hilarious. They're always saying stuff in my head. You know, you remember all the crazy stuff they said. So, anyway, so I'm
So what
working.
do you think's causing you to have that?
I don't know. This was at the end of one of my classes. This was a class, it was the psychic development group that I'm in, okay?
Hmm.
And we were doing yes or no questions, which is really you just ask a question and then the person that's reading you gets the answer. And they're like writing down the stuff you're asking and saying yes, no, yes, no. So I don't know. I worked with a couple of women that one of them, Mel, she's adorable. I love her. She's really good. She's very gifted, and she's at that point where she doesn't really know it yet. Because this is a journey, and you learn. As you're on it, you learn how powerful or I don't, gifted. I guess it's gifted how gifted you are or not. And
So what does it do to what does that do for you to heal yourself?
to heal myself. Actually, um,
Or what is it used for? Maybe that's a better
for
question.
psychic readings and for psychic information
No.
and for, mediumship. Someone approached me this week and said, Hey, we're having a mediumship summit. Do you want to be on it? I was like, where the heck did she get my name? I was pretty surprised because I mean, I've done mediumship, but I don't consider myself an expert. But so I tune in for 1/4 of a millisecond and go, yep, yes, sure, I'll be on it because it's going to give me experience and it's going to show me what I can or can't do, right? So that'll be interesting. But I mean that's what the gift is. The gift is the being able to read other realms. And I will say I can do that and I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not very good at doing it for myself. And I think that's a pretty common characteristic of people who consider themselves psychic. Took me a long time to embrace that word. I used intuitive for years and years and years and years. And then I was told, you really should say that you're psychic. And I'm like, why? Because you are. And I'm like, oh. So I practiced and now I say it. Now I got it. I'm okay. It's good.
So being a psychic, so what are you saying? You see and hear what's going on in a person's mind?
Only with permission and only when the store's open.
Okay, but
Yes.
so with permission and with them wanting this reading, so you can go in their mind and read what their mind is saying.
Nah, not exactly their mind, because that would be like an ego reading. This goes beyond. It goes, I mean, it's hard to explain for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client who said, And I actually have this posted on my website. It was wild. She said, "How can I get my partner to understand what my work is? Like to embrace it." And I looked down for 1 second. I don't know if I was going to pull cards or if I had my pastels out or whatever. And I just looked up and said, "The question is not about your partner. The question is about you. When will you be able to embrace your work so that it's okay with you?"
Mhm.
She was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you even said that." And I'm like, "Yeah, me neither." Because that's how it works, BJ. It's like, "Yeah, me neither. I can't believe I said that either." And that was just the most amazing, beautiful reading that just popped out of my mouth. And it's beyond me. It's bigger than me. It's not, I am the conduit. It's like the whistle,
Mhm.
it's like the pipe that brings those prayers through and into your body and lets that smoke out and lets that wish go up to the Creator, right? It comes through me. Does that make sense?
I've had a lot of people try to do psychic reading on me, and I'm the only person in my mind that can figure out what I'm going to do, hear what I'm hearing, feeling, and for somebody to go into my mind or whatever that is, that's kind of what I hear. It'd be like a psychiatrist going in, but I think really what it is just really learning how to watch people's behavioral patterns.
Mm-mm.
So watching people's behavioral patterns, then you get an insight as to what's going on in their world.
I didn't know this woman at all.
Uh-huh.
So it's not behavior,
Uh-huh.
and it has nothing to do with psychiatry.
Mm,
Psychiatry is earthly.
mm.
Psychic readings are very personal and very other realms.
And how do you get to these other realms? Then how do you know you're in another realm?
Well, you just tune in. With practice, you can do it. You
Mm,
can get your self ready. I mean, I have always had this gift.
mhm,
For years and years and years, I would say, what good is it if I don't know how to turn it on and off, right?
mhm, mhm,
And then I discovered oracle cards. And for me, pulling a card turned on the gift. It took me to a place where I could look at the card. I used to have cards on a shelf when I had my other desk. I had them on the
mhm,
shelf right here. Pull out 5 decks in the snap, but I don't have. Oh, I guess I have a deck here. You pull a card,
mhm.
you start reading the book that goes with the card, and then it just kicks in and stuff just starts coming out and coming through. And you get to a point you're reading maybe the first sentence, nah, second sentence, nah, third. All of a sudden, boom, that's the one. That's the one that's the message for you. And then you're saying, oh, this is it, this is your message, but then the psychic senses just can take it so much further. It's like, as I'm talking about it, I can feel myself going into that state.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different state, it's a different resonance, it's a different, no, BJ, it's like when you're praying, when you're singing, when you're pouring that water onto those stones in lodge, you get in a different vibration than you do when you're at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Does that,
Okay.
yeah?
I'm asking you.
Well, I know because I have to stay on, how do I say? I have to stay grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed lately, I just fill my ears all the time with whatever whatever, either on my phone or music or lots of YouTubes, lots of, and I guess, wow, now I just thought of this. I use the news to bring me back to earth. It anchors me here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a subscription on MSW Media. MSW stands for Muller, She Wrote. And I listen to the Daily Beans podcast every day. And then clean up on aisle 45 on Wednesday, and on the bonus episode is on Saturday, and the Jack podcast is on Sunday. So
Mm-hmm.
those are kind of like some of the political anchors that I use to keep me tethered to earth, because otherwise I might just float away. Whew. And 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 I'm so excited. I reserved my space and paid for my workshop in North Carolina in May.
Oh wow.
So please,
May what?
16th through the 19th
Where are you going to do that?
at the Art of Living Retreat in Boone, North Carolina.
Wow.
Yes. And you know what it is? This is what I'm so there's a woman that a friend of mine, Susan, told me to follow. She goes, "You need to follow Molly McCord." And Molly McCord's an astrologer. She does a ton of YouTubes and, talking about the stars and the planets and the conjunct and trine and sextile and the movements and what they mean and the transits. And she's got a lot of classes and she's fabulous. I love her.
Good.
So I started following Molly, and Molly is doing the workshop with another guy. His name is Rob, and that's all I know. I don't have a last name. Maybe it's on a different page, but when I was looking for it, it just said Rob.
Mm-hmm.
He does something different called human design. And human design is kind of like astrology. You use your birth information to create your human design chart, just like an astrology chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it looks very different. And Molly and Rob together are going to do this workshop Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at this retreat center. She's just opened registration for people that have bought her classes. So, or people who are signed up for her newsletter. I don't know who, but she's just opened it, and I did not take 12 hours to sign up. So, what the workshop is going to do is use both human design and astrology applied to your business. And
There you
what
go.
kind of stuff you need to be doing to make sure it works. And I guess one of the things that you shouldn't do is get hit with do this big, huge, gigantic report very shortly after you launch your site. But anyway, it's there, it will continue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited. I'm going to North Carolina. It's what, an hour? We said an hour and a half away from you?
Yeah, it's up in the mountains. So, um, where are they having it out in a special place or?
Yeah. Google it. Put it in Google. The Art of Living Retreat Center.
Okay. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I've looked at the setting, I've looked at the place. It's way up in the mountains. It's got everything there. Once you get there, you don't have to leave at all until it's over. So,
And it's wheelchair accessible.
yes,
Okay, good.
ma'am.
That would be my biggest concern about some of the places that they have over in this
Yeah,
area.
but if you look at it, it's big. There's lots and lots of buildings and places, and it's all over their website that it. I mean, there's trails, and it says if you're going hiking and you have mobility issues, you might get stuck. So be careful. I mean, it's on there. I'm not going off any concrete. I don't need to go hiking. I just need to be there. Just
Oh,
see
good.
those trees, and
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
Boone's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Asheville. But
so yeah,
yeah, it's up in the mountains. So
yeah,
there's the university up there. People go to university up there.
yeah, in Boone.
Yeah, there's a
What
big university
university
there.
is there?
Huh?
What university is it?
I can't remember.
Okay, maybe it's the University of North Carolina at Boone. It's a state university.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah. So that'll be good. That'll be good. That's a good place to go.
I'm excited and interested, and I can't wait to see. And of course, I wanted to, because there's some links and stuff that she gave us. If you don't know anything about human design, start to look at it in here. You can go to this website and print out your chart.
Hmm.
And so I go to the website and I got the thing up and I'm going to print out my chart. And my printer says, you need magenta. And I'm like, oh, shit. Because I'm on that plan where they send you the ink as they notice you need it.
Uh-huh.
So the last couple of times they have sent cartridges, the pink cartridges, the pink ink leaks all over the place. I'm like, I'm not putting that in my printer. So I sent it back because I give you the envelopes, you can send it back, right?
Hmm.
Sent it back. But did they ever send me a replacement? No. So all of a sudden, I want to print out my human design chart, which I know nothing about. And I'm out of ink and I can't print anything. Oh, yippee. So I grab the phone. I'm like going to the HP ink split the website, trying to figure out, and finally, going through all their blah 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 and the chat and the this and the that, and finally I get a phone number. Finally, after like
Hmm.
half an hour, so then I call. I'm all excited. Oh, I could just call, right? I was on hold for 45 minutes. I'm like, well, screw this. So, had to call. When was it? Yesterday. I had to call yesterday and explain, and I had to explain it 4 times. I cannot print anything. The printer will not print. It is out of pink ink. Kept saying it. They call it magenta. I was just being a little naughty. Pink ink! I'm out of pink ink. My printer won't print. This is useless. They're like, well, why are you out of pink? And I'm like, because the pink cartridges leak, and I'm not putting a leaky cartridge in my printer, right? I'm like, do you think I should still put it in? She's like, no, don't put it in. I'm like, good. So I sent it back. Why didn't you send me another one? Because the machines don't understand that you sent back a full cartridge that was leaking. I'm like, what about the people? Like, there's no people. It's all robotic and there's no people that understand. Because when you get it, it's got this damn orange thing. Hang on 1 second. On the bottom of it, I have a cartridge sitting right here. It's got this orange thing on it, right? And you have to pry that off. It's really hard for me. Anyway, so you take it off, and then that's when you can put the cartridge in your printer. But if you send back a cartridge with the orange thing on it, it means it hasn't been used. Okay? So, hasn't been used. It's all wrapped up in Kleenex because it's leaking all over and there's pink ink all over the Kleenex, and I'm sending it back. Do you think the machine knows all of this stuff? If it knows all of this stuff, if it opens the bag and dumps the cartridges out, and it's only machines and robots and computers doing all this stuff, then why doesn't the machine know that I have 2 leaky cartridges that you owe me, that I paid for, that you sent me, that don't work? Now I'm sending them back. She said, that's not how it works. I'm like, okay, how does it work? You have to call me. I'm like, I don't have time. Better watch what I'm doing. I don't have time to sit on the phone and explain this to you 500 times. So anyway, they're sending me pink cartridges. They were supposed to be here really fast, and they were going to overnight them and blah, blah, blah. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, they sent me something. Oh, shipment confirmation. Hang on, because I didn't open it. I just started me going through. We've shipped your cartridges. That's absolutely fabulous. I am so excited that they're going to send this really fast, and they send it out 24 hours later saying that we shipped it. Let's see if we can find out. Okay, it'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, well, there you go. So what about this human design? Is that what they're teaching in a
Yeah.
class? It's a psychology class or a
No, it's not psychology. No. I can't fill in the blank on that one and tell you exactly what it is because I really
don't know.
No.
Okay.
I do know that some people compare it to astrology.
Oh, okay.
It's not psychology. Because if it was psychology, BJ, I'd have to do that at a university, not at a retreat, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So it's like a astrology class. And then what are you going to gain from that? Just know where you're at, or
So
what?
according to your chart and your
Mm-hmm.
sign and probably your rising and your midheaven and your IC and your descendant and all of those things on the astrology wheel,
Mm-hmm.
they will tell you, like if you're in business, this is better for you, this is not, this is, what kinds of things are like I've said for years and years and years and years, BJ, for what, 10 years at least, that I would love to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, I've been saying this for 10 years. How much have I actually written?
Mm-hmm.
Guess.
I don't know.
Take one guess.
I don't know.
Zero. I don't write. I mean, I journal a little bit in the morning, just my thoughts and stuff, but it's not writing to sit down and write my book or write my stories or write whatever, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say zero. I do have a couple of things written, but almost zero. And then when I started doing this business development stuff, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm much more inclined to talk it out. It's much easier and
Mm-hmm.
and it just comes to me
Mm-hmm.
better. And so, anyway, so will it ever be written? Someone actually told me recently, oh, all those stories you're telling, you should write them down. You should get the transcripts. And like, yeah, don't even go there. Like, no, so much work. And I have lists. I've made lists and lists and lists and lists of all the stories and things that have happened. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not making any commitments to writing my stories.
Well, there's your answer. Unless we make a full blown commitment, schedule the time, it's not going to happen.
And I'm not saying it's not going to happen ever. I'm just saying I'm not making that commitment today. Out there, not. I should be making a commitment to writing this damn report.
Should have, could have, would have.
Yeah, well, so today I was supposed to have an interview at 11 o'clock. Phone rings at 8:30, and right away, as soon as it rang and I looked at my phone, I'm like, that has something to do with this interview that's gotten way later sidetracked or whatever. Oh, I'm supposed to call you and tell you that the interview that was scheduled for today at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. She goes, it was 11 o'clock Mountain Time, right? I'm like, yes. Okay. Um, so there's been, what did she say? The interviewer had an emergency. So she wanted to reschedule it for like 5 o'clock. And I'm like, no, I didn't want it to butt up against this. And I didn't want it to interfere with getting my battery switched out. So I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm not going to be able to do it at that time. Is there another alternative? And she said, yeah, we can do it tomorrow at the same time. I'm like, oh, great. So it was really interesting though, because she was like, the secretary that was doing this was extremely unsure of herself. because she kept repeating it, okay, at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, your phone says California." I said, "What time zone are you on?" She said, "I'm on Central." And I'm like, "Okay, so that would be at 12 o'clock Central. Are you putting it in someone's calendar?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, can you see the appointment for today?" And she said, "Yes." And I'm like, "Well, just click on that and change the date and leave the time the same." She's like, "Oh, oh." It was really funny because I don't know, I was like training her. It's really weird. Anyway, and then she started kind of mumbling, and I thought she was talking to someone else, and I couldn't hear her very well. It was really interesting. And then she said, "Is that right?" And I said, "Excuse me, are you talking to me? It sounds like you're talking to someone else." She said, "Oh, that's my headset. I had to take it off and turn my speaker on my phone." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yes, that's right. Tomorrow we've got the date, the 17th at 11 o'clock." Anyway, so during all of this, then all of a sudden I go, "I'm really excited about this interview." She goes, "Well, that's good." I said, "Well, I spent some time this weekend really going over the website and looking at the mission and looking at the values and looking at all the different programs, and I'm really excited about it. Plus, they're in 9 states, and the this position is the one for Tucson. They're in 9 states, and Arizona's not on the list. I'm like, "Okay, I'm getting in on the crest of the wave, right?" So I'll talk to the interviewer tomorrow about it and find out. But it sounds like they're just starting to get up and running in Tucson. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm just kind of in a place where where I'm allowing the universe to lead me. I figured by yesterday things would be clear. And then yesterday was Martin Luther King's birthday. I'm like, "Oh yeah." Well, it wasn't the birthday; it was the day off, right? So I'm like, "Okay." And then today we're put off again. In divine timing, it'll come through, but it should be soon. I'm thinking this week. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. In the 12-step program, they talk a lot about turning it over to a power greater than ourselves. And that so all these different steps that they have in the 12-step program is really about working on ourselves and really having the courage to look at our own behaviors and all that stuff, and do amends, make amends, and just, the change I want to see in you has to begin with me. And they have all these little sayings that really, really help. So I'm wondering if this thing you're going to do is this human design, if they've got some kind of a program laid out which would be similar to the 12 steps,
I don't think so.
but they would have their own design of their program. No.
No, because if you could see the picture, I mean, it would kind of be like saying, "Can you get a 12-step program out of this?" Well, maybe you could, because there are 12 parts of the pie, right? But then all those lines and all those angles and all those numbers and all those symbols, I mean, that's a language. It has nothing to do with 12 step.
And so you don't think the 12 steps is not a language?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Oh, okay.
human design is doesn't have anything to do with
So
12.
it's what's his name, Da Vinci, and all the drawings that he did and making an airplane. So it's like creating a mathematical drawing of how you're going to make the computer, or how you're going to make a door, or how you're going to make a house. So it'd be something like that, and then you put your brain to working on seeing how much you fit into that box or that square or that angle.
No.
No.
These lines are all the relationships of different planets at the points of your birth.
Oh, okay. So it's like a road map.
It is, but it's not very easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a static, this one's static. Then you got to add on top of it what's happening today.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening this morning, and what's happening this afternoon, and what's happening this evening, and all the stars and all the planets and all the. And
So the human design, is that a pattern of behavior that you're going to be talking about and then charting it? So it's like
because it comes out kind of like this, like
okay.
this is what happened when you were born, and all of these angles and all of this and all of that. But don't ask me because I really don't know.
Okay, so then this
When I get the ink and can I print out the chart, I mean, there's lots of numbers and there's lots of lines and there's lots of spaces. It kind of looks like a body, but I don't know.
So
I've looked at it before and gone, what the heck?
So it's another form of reading the geometrical shapes and how things line up, and the numerology and the medallions and the mandalas and all of that, to form a pattern of your behavior, or what your behavior is going to be, or where they think you're going.
I don't think it's behavior. Maybe influence would be a better word.
Okay.
Of the influences of the planets on, I don't know. Because it's really interesting. Like, I'm a Virgo, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm a Virgo that I do not have. Now, a Virgo would want to set this up and talk about it, and we're going to talk about this, and then we'll talk about that, and we have 3 minutes for this, and then 2 minutes for that. Hey, let's just, as I'm saying this, I'm remembering, oh yeah, all the stuff that I always go at the end, I'm like, why didn't I say that? You're here if you sent us hearts and thumbs up and are not subscribed to my YouTube channel at Gina Maria Opalescent. Thank you.
Bye. Talk to you later.
Are you ready to go?
I'm gone. Bye.
I will talk to you. People, have a great week. Have a fabulous, fabulous week. And may we all get answers, right? Talk to you soon. Next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's all I know by heart. Thanks. Bye.